But like, I'd initially made a video about Anas Sarwar a week or two ago, as after he supposedly was a victim of racism, but decided against uploading the video because partly there was other things that I talked about in the video that had absolutely nothing to do with Anas Sarwar and his supposed encounter with racism. So I decided to just kind of put the video into the back burner, probably just to eventually be deleted. But, you know, as the weeks have now gone on, he is really he's still in the papers, and he's really over-egging the pudding. And really, towards the end of this video, you will either see things from my perspective, in the sense that I seem to feel a wee bit torn. It's either a case of pattern recognition, you know, connecting the dots, or I may be barking up the wrong tree. But I'm really starting to question the validity of the events of the last few weeks regarding this Labour MP. And secondly, even if what he has said initially was true, I think, as I said, this is now a case of over-egging the pudding. So I will play the video that I initially made, which had him at the beginning, and then I'll go on to the events that have happened since. I'm going to spend too much time talking about the recent events that have taken place in Scotland regarding this Scottish MP, but I thought I would touch upon it before I finish off with what I wanted to mention. We first of all had on the 29th of January, Scotland's not ready for a brown Muslim Paki. Anas Sarwar says he lost support because his wife wears a hijab. Now, throughout the whole article, there is absolutely no mention of the person in question that supposedly said this to him. And then later transpires that this happened last year. There was even calls for Scottish Labour to kick out the racist councillor who told Anas Sarwar Scotland's not ready for a brown Muslim Party leader. But he then went on to say that he declined to name the individual. That's a bit fishy if you ask me. A leader of a Labour council group told me very clearly that the reason he couldn't support me in the leadership election was, in his own words, Scotland wasn't ready for a brown Muslim Paki. When I challenged him on that, saying it was racist and Islamophobic comment, for sure you did. You know, I find that, even that in itself, whether or not what happened, I just find that bizarre. That the response you had to a racist remark was a sentence filled to the brim of key words that you will see cropping up headline after headline. Anyhow, he said that wasn't his opinion, it was fear about what his constituents believe. Then obviously, a few days go by, and the name was revealed of the man that was racist towards Anas Sarwar, whoever the fuck he is. I've never heard of him before the last few days, but anyway. And the Scottish Labour councillor denies the racist claims, saying he was stunned. I categorically deny these deeply hurtful allegations. I'm stunned and dismayed at the claims that I would say such things, and I will defend myself robustly in the party's investigation and in any actions that follow. I am not going to dispute whether or not what this man claims happened. I'm not going to dispute whether or not it happened or not. I just find it a bit fishy that this supposedly happened last year, and you didn't say anything at the time, and even when you did come out, you still didn't say who apparently said it. Anyway, it then leads on to this. Scottish politician Anas Sarwar warns of rising Islamophobia in the UK after slur. Anas Sarwar claimed he was called a brown Muslim Paki by an elected councillor. Mr Sarwar, Labour's health spokesman at Holyrood, said it was up to the party to take appropriate action following his complaint, and he wanted to focus on the wider issues of religious hatreds. He told Sky News, "I think we have an everyday racism, and everyday Islamophobia across our society. I think we've seen, particularly in Scotland, a reduction in the number of race-related attacks, but a significant increase in the number of religious-based attacks." What? I think perhaps we're seeing a transfer of some of that racial hatred onto religious hatred. Mr. Sarwar claimed another Labour member had said that they could not vote for him because his wife wore a headscarf, and his father Mohammed, Britain's first Muslim MP, had experienced similar abuse at the time of his election. I thought we as a country had come a long way in that 20 years, but sadly it seems people still hold these views. So obviously, that video that I just played a wee segment of was a week or two so old, and since that time, Anas Sarwar is still in the front pages of every single paper. But this is where I'm starting to call the whole thing, in question, because he said to begin with that there was a rise in Islamophobia and he wanted to tackle racial inequality, all this crap. And then it's unveiled by himself that he's revealed a blueprint to combat everyday racism. That didn't take you long, mate. Comes out to the paper talking about how he was a victim of racism. Within a matter of 2 to 3 weeks, he's then unveiled a blueprint to combat everyday racism. So much so now that on Twitter, I am delighted to announce that the Scottish Labour MSP group today unanimously endorsed Anas Sarwar's 8-point action plan for our party to tackle everyday racism and Islamophobia. These will now be considered by our Scottish Executive Committee. We also endorsed the policy proposal sent to Nicola Merkel to challenge the consequences of racism and Islamophobia in a wider society. It's all starting to make sense. It's a bit convenient timing, is it not? Anyway, this is only 5 days old, and he's the man has been accused, still denying making these comments. Anyway, changing a culture. Sarwar recently launched a cross-party group on tackling Islamophobia, supported by members of the Scottish Parliament from every political party and over 50 organisations. In his letter to Merkel, he said his proposals were about challenging a culture that impacts on workplaces, colleges, university campuses, and playgrounds across the country. The Glasgow MSP called on the Scottish Government to put in place a requirement for at least one BAME candidate, or at least one had applied, to be shortlisted for an interview for a public sector job. BAME, is an abbreviation for British, Black, Asian and Minority Ethnic. BME students are making good use of higher education opportunities. Yeah, I'm sure they are. I mean, this is... So, even if all the candidates are, you've got a position going, and you're shifting through all the CVs, and even if 9 out of the 10 happen to be white, and then there's a choice between the 10th potential interviewee, you still have to take the one that has the shit CV. And I'm just in hypothetically, so if a coloured kid, coloured teen, coloured whatever, ethnic minority, quote unquote, has a shitty CV, he still has to be interviewed regardless. I mean, see what I mean? There's crap. And further proof my point, it's crap. He goes on to say his proposals also include a regular audit of the diversity of Scotland's workforce. What fucking diversity? See, these people and their identity politics. Male, female, black, white, fair enough. But, come on. The people that bang on all the time about diversity and equality are the same people that are hypocrites, because they're the ones that are placing you into different categories. Black people and white people are still, black men and white men are still men. They're not fucking black men and white men. They're men. You don't pick somebody, in this day and age especially, for a job purely on the basis of his skin colour. And it goes both ways, because now you have to, you're required for at least one person from an ethnic background to be shortlisted for an interview. I mean, what the fuck is this? If you're good enough for the job, or potentially good enough for the job, you'd get an interview. End of conversation. Oh, but his skin colour. That has to come into it. Yous are the hypocrites. I could spend all day ranting about this dickhead. But anyways, back in the paper again. Regarding this, police probe neo-Nazi video threat sent to Anas Sarwar. And then, of course, there's this one, if it would load. Police investigate far-right threat to Labour MSP Anas Sarwar. I love the way the media word things as if people really are stupid. You know, it says far-right racist thug sent Labour MSP Anas Sarwar threatening messages and video. He received the threats via email from Yobs, who posted material from the Ban National Action Group, and it comes after the politician spoke about his own experiences of racism. What? Holy. Didn't come out at the time though, did you, buddy? You know, now cops have confirmed they're looking into the threats. Sarwar received a video email that was a propaganda clip from the National Action, a group who were banned by Westminster in 2016 as a proscribed terror organisation. The clip showed extremists marching through the streets of Darlington along with messages. What the fuck's with the grammar? This is supposed to be a newspaper. Along with messages like, "We will finally win back our lands." The Labour MSP has thanked those who have supported him, and he has resolved to keep up his fight against racists. Oh, yes, of course, yes. Because let's not forget, only a week ago he called on Sturgeon to tackle everyday racism, and now conveniently somebody's fucking posted a racist email to him. Oh, wonders never cease to amaze me. And it's not like Labour are remotely racist at all, is it? Oh, no. You know, Labour charging white people £10 more to enter a Jeremy Corbyn rally. Or, just recently, in fact, Labour defends Equality's conference ban. The party is facing backlash for saying attendees must self-define as disabled, LGBT emphasis on the T, a woman, or from an ethnic minority background. Oh, you white men, you can't go, but that ain't fucking racist. And not only that, right? I am fucking sick of this. Labour, it was Labour's Yvette Cooper slams YouTube over failure to take down extremist videos, right? But what the paper that I've got in front of me right now says here, which I couldn't find on the internet, but I suppose if you looked hard enough you probably would. It's the Daily Record from February the 20th 2018, which is today, Tuesday, February the 20th. It says here, vile film is still on YouTube, right? The email included the message, "One step back, we are everywhere," right? This is referring to some neo-Nazi video from Darlington 2016, as I just mentioned. And then it says here, in July, Labour's Yvette Cooper complained to YouTube about the propaganda video being hosted on the website. They promised to take it down, but it was still accessible last night. Oh, how convenient! Oh, how convenient. So you couldn't get it taken down the first time, so now Anas Sarwar's come out to fucking save the day. If the person in question really was racist towards him, yeah, that's fucking pretty heinous, I'll give you that. But I mean, you're over-egging the pudding now at this point. And I mean, the front page of this Daily Record really gets on my nerves. Neo-Nazi video threat to MSP, and it's got a picture of an ass there, and then you flick the paper over and you've got clips or picture stills of the video in question, and it says, "This used to be a white country, white culture, white families, white children, white women, as a traitor to your nation." There's another one, "White ideals for National Socialists. We will finally win back our lands and our race will be forever free. Hail victory." You know, they have to put in the Adolf Hitler-y bits at the end there, like, you know. So, I mean, this is the point we're at now. It's just continuous. If you've got any pride whatsoever in the fact that you're white, you're tied in with arseholes that fucking believe in the fantasy of Adolf Hitler. You know, I can't, I'm really struggling to believe it. I'm really struggling to believe this story for what his claims it is. I apologise for the swear. I presume that's fucking racist now as well. Even down here he says, all these people inadvertently do is prove my point and strengthen my resolve. That is the point! That really is the point, mate, but we're seeing it from two different angles. I think this is fake. I really do. Not only that, I think it's fake because this all ties in at the same time as the scandal with the race rouse type shit that's still persisting just now. You know, and all this crap's coming out. But I mean, I really can't help but feel that you want the people to think that this is inadvertently proving your point, but I think you've proven your own point. A point you created yourself. Fuck knows, time will tell. Thank God I don't live in Glasgow, eh? And you got arseholes like that. Peace.